One plumber charges $40 to come out to your house and then $15 an hour while he works. Another charges $25 to come out to your house and then $20 while she works. After how many hours will they charge the same amount? What will they both charge if the job takes that number of hours? Okay, so first we need to define variables here. Now in this case, we don't have an unknown, we have something that's changing, the number of hours that the person works, right? So if someone comes out to your house and you're like, oh, my toilet's clogged, can you call a plumber, right? And that person comes and they're like, oh crap, there's a bigger problem and they have to stay for 5 hours. Well, yeah, it's gonna cost more than if they only have to stay for a few minutes, right? So this one plumber says, look, it's $40 for me to just come and park my van out in front of your house, right? And then after, while I'm working, you only have to pay me $15 an hour. Another one says, look, it's only $25 for me to come and get my van out there, but once I'm working, it's going to be $20 an hour. Okay, so what are the things that are changing here? Or the things that are unknown? Now, in this case, like I said, we don't have unknowns. We have something that's changing. So what's changing is the number of hours that they work, right? A job might take 1 hour or 7 hours. And then based on the number of hours they work, the cost of that job is changing. Okay. Now, how can we write equations for this? When we have something that's, that has some sort of change in it, right? This is where we use slope-intercept form. Because remember, when we have something that's unknown, we often end up using standard form. But in this case, we have something changing. And what we have is we have a starting point, right? We always have a starting point, that's our y-intercept. And we have how something is changing, the rate of change, and that ends up being our slope. So what we're going to do is we're going to write an equation for each plumber. So one plumber starts, when that guy arrives at your door, you owe him $40. That's the starting point, okay? So this is, I'm going to use, in fact, let me write this. I'm going to use y equals mx plus b, okay? I'm going to use y equals mx plus b, but the thing is I'm going to use hours and cost. So here, instead of y being the output, the cost is the output. So for the first plumber, his starting point is $40. And then as he works, right, every time he works an hour, his cost goes up 15. So that equation is going to look like this. Oh, sorry, it's not an x. Every time he works an hour, the cost is going to go up, right? So let's say he works 2 hours. That would be 2 times 15. That'd be $30 for those 2 hours, plus the $40 for him coming out to your house. If it's 10 hours, right, that 15 is going to be multiplied by 10 plus the 40 to come out to your house, okay? Now the charge for the other plumber, and now that you've seen it once, hopefully you can kind of see, that person charges, right? She charges $25 to start, just to come out to your house, okay? And then she charges $20 an hour, okay? Now, after how many hours will they charge the same amount? Here, we're going to use substitution. We have two equations that have this form, y equals mx plus b. Now, yeah, we use different letters, but the same thing holds true, right? This is equal to c, and this is equal to c. So we want to know, when is that cost going to be the same for this plumber and this plumber? Well, if these are the same, then these must be the same. So let's go ahead and solve. We're going to solve for h. This is going to tell me after how many hours are they going to charge the same amount. And notice what I'm doing. I'm getting all the h's to one side, right? I have h's on both sides. I don't like that. I need variables on one side. I'm going to subtract 25 from both sides. I'm going to divide by 5. And I get 3 equals h. This tells me after 3 hours, they both charge the same amount. Well, how much do they both charge after 3 hours? And we're going to plug into both, and this is kind of going to be also the way that we check our answer, by plugging into both. I want to know what the cost is going to be after 3 hours for each of the different plumbers. Okay, so this first plumber, after 3 hours, 15 times 3, that's 45, plus 40, charges you $85. These are pretty cheap plumbers. 20 times 3 is 60, plus 25, 60 plus 25, 85. So perfect, those match, right? And so here's what we know. We know after 3 hours, both plumbers charge $85.